Welcome to Rusty and Binge Face, where two friends binge watch seasons of TV shows and we talk about it. I'm Adam McCoy.
And I'm Amanda Kathleen. Adam and I work in television. We watch a lot of television. If we could punish someone, it would be people who hate television.
So nobody.
So, yeah, I guess. No, there's people out there that hate television.
They tell you they do, but they really
They secretly don't.
I only read books, but I really watch TV.
Call those mothers out.
We just did.
So, today, if you haven't figured it out, we're binging Punisher Season 2.
From Netflix.
From Netflix. If you're not in the Netflix zone.
One of many Marvel television shows created for Netflix.
That are now.
And one of the few that's left. At least at the time this is recorded.
It's like Hunger Games on like Marvel on Netflix right now.
Many enter, few will leave.
That Disney platform.
Disney's got all kinds of money.
I'm just hoping like maybe they'll continue on the Disney platform. Maybe they won't.
You hope they'll move over whenever Disney starts streaming. Maybe that's it. They're all just in like purgatory right now.
I'm hoping.
Luke Cage is just in purgatory. He's not been canceled. He will go over to the Disney streaming service.
Maybe they'll fix some problems.
Yeah. And there are a few for some of the shows. Except for Iron Fist. There's just no saving that one.
We don't talk about Iron Fist. That's not.
Yeah.
Adam, do you have some knowledge to drop for
I
us?
do. With a character as rich in history as the Punisher. There's bound to be some knowledge. All right, so the Punisher first made his appearance in The Amazing Spider-Man number 129 in 1974.
Oh.
You may have seen this cover. It's kind of iconic. It's the Punisher holding a rifle in the scope with the crosshairs. You see Spider-Man hanging upside down.
He's going to kill Spider-Man?
So Frank Castle's going to kill Spider-Man.
Why?
He thinks he's bad.
He's just some punk kid.
Yeah. So it was created for Marvel Comics, and it was written by Jerry Conway or Gary Conway. I've heard it both ways. Starts with a G, though. What's funny is this was actually inspired, and this has been confirmed by the creator, by a popular book series called The Executioner, created by Don Pendleton. And in this series, this pulp fiction series, a Vietnam veteran sniper named Mark Bolan becomes a serial killer of criminals after the mafia-related deaths of his family.
Oh, sure.
Sound familiar? So he pretty much said that he was inspired by this. But that was written in like 1969. They've made like 600 of those books since then of the Executioner series.
Oh, wow.
It was a very popular series. I've never heard of it, but apparently it was. So he created this character after ripping off of the Executioner. And Stan Lee was the editor-in-chief at Marvel at the time. And the creator actually wanted to call the character the Assassin. And Stan Lee was like, I don't think anyone will ever let us print that on comics. How about you call him the Punisher? And that's how the Punisher was born.
Stan Lee.
Apparently he had a character and like a one-off character from some robot named the Punisher. He was like, we can just reuse that name. And he said, since I was the editor-in-chief, he said, okay. And they stuck with that name. So he became very popular in the comic book world, more than anyone actually thought it would. Kind of the first anti-hero in the comic world.
Right.
Besides Batman, who's kind of an anti-hero.
Kind of.
Not as bad as
Frank
Frank Castle.
Well, Frank Castle kills people, whereas Batman does not.
Tries not to. Yes, and so at one point there were actually 4 different Punisher comics created monthly for Marvel, which was a pretty big deal to have him lead his own comic in 4 different ones, considering he was just like a one-off character to go with Spider-Man.
Right.
Since then, there has been 3 films.
3 films.
Some of you may not know the 1989 classic, The Punisher.
Nope.
Starring Dolph Lundgren.
Oh.
Yeah, the Russian boxer himself. So in this version, not the most well-received. I actually enjoyed it for an 80s action flick. But they kind of changed the storyline, so he never wears the white skull, his costume. And he was a cop, not a military man or a Marine.
I mean, okay.
And it's not it doesn't follow the storyline of the comics that much.
Right.
In 2004, though, Thomas Jane portrayed Frank Castle as the Punisher in the classic film The Punisher, the remake of 2004.
That's the only Punisher I know.
Yeah. In 2004, it had John Travolta as the villain, which may be why it didn't get a lot of great reviews.
I don't think I've ever seen it, but you said John Travolta's in there, so I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna have to watch this one.
I think it's an extremely underrated Marvel movie.
Really?
It was released at the time of Elektra and Daredevil, the horrible
Ugh,
films.
we don't talk about those either.
I really enjoyed this one. I think it's a pretty good depiction of the Punisher.
Okay.
Rebecca Romaine Stamos is in it, so maybe kind of that was around the X-Men times when she was Mystique, so maybe that's why they brought her on. Other than that, John Travolta, Thomas Jane, and her. So not a lot of big stars in it, but it was I enjoyed it. And then 2008, they made one called Punisher Warzone, which followed a darker comic book series starring Ray Stevenson, which I hated that one. I actually couldn't even finish watching it. And I like violent movies, revenge movies especially. I couldn't get past the first 20 minutes of it. It wasn't great. It was not well done at all.
Well, I'd never heard of it.
Well, there's a reason. Actually, Thomas Jane was there. People were trying to petition for him to reprise the role, and he actually made a digital short video just on his own. He was doing it, trying to get the studio behind him, and it's actually pretty good. It's
for what?
The Punisher,
for the new movie or for the show?
Before the movie ever came, because they were going to make a sequel at one time.
Right.
They canned it,
okay.
And they were like, "Oh, we're talking about rebooting it in 2008
with
with Ray Stevenson, which was a horrible decision." He and somebody else made this their own version, a little 15-minute video of Frank Castle doing laundry and being attacked by people, and it was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was good. So I like him as the Punisher. So the next iteration, in 2011, Fox was going to do a pilot. They had a pilot commitment. That fell through. So it wasn't until 2015 when John Bernthal was cast to play Frank Castle in the second season of Daredevil.
Which is one of my favorites.
It's a good one. It's a good one. So he was cast. And then the development of a spinoff titled The Punisher began in January of 2016 before the second season of Daredevil even premiered.
Yeah.
They already went ahead and decided to make the first.
They're like, we're going to do this.
So they were kind of, at that point, just pumping out shows.
Right.
I think that's why some of them kind of, waned off at that point.
Right.
But we have yet to hear if they're going to do a third season because viewership has kind of faltered.
Faltered, or is it the Disney thing?
Could be the Disney thing.
We don't know.
We shall wait and see. I have a little more information about some of the characters in the comic series, but especially the ones who are in the TV show. There is one that does not make an appearance in the TV show, which I'll tell you about now.
Okay.
One last. Hold on. You got to bear with me because it's a very interesting storyline.
I'm gripping on.
So, in the comic book, this character named Frank Costa.
Frank Costa?
He is the one, the crime boss, who is trying to do the hit where Frank Castle's family accidentally gets killed.
Oh.
So he's the crime boss.
Okay.
He was a 4 comic book character arc. After that, he was never heard of again. He died because the Punisher killed him.
Right.
15 years later, they decided to bring the character back.
He didn't die.
Oh, he died. It turns out that Frank Costa was actually a demon named Oliver.
Sure.
Who teamed up with Lucifer.
Okay.
And then was kicked out of paradise. And was forced to spend eternity in hell.
Yep.
He got his own little corner of hell to rule. The rest of the demons got jealous. They said, what are we going to do about this guy, Oliver? He's kind of making us look bad. So they kicked him out, and they somehow forced him into the body of a stillborn baby.
As they should.
As they should, thinking that would get rid of him. But he came back to life in the stillborn baby, and when he did, all his memories were erased of being a demon, lived this life, and when he made his first kill of a human life, when he took his first human life, all his memories came flooding back of being a demon.
Oh.
So, then, clairvoyancy... and the occult, he had some weird connection. There's this guy named Frank Castle, who's a sniper in Vietnam. When he comes back, I'm going to sabotage him and kill his family. And then, when he goes on revenge on everybody, all the people he kills are going to go to hell and become my soldiers when I try to take hell back over again. So there you go.
That's terrible.
That's a weird storyline. So, hopefully, season 3, fingers crossed, that's what they do.
I think the worst part of that story
is a stillborn child?
No, was that his name was Oliver as a demon.
Yeah, it could have been something like scarier.
Any other name.
No, Oliver can be scary.
Oliver's not scary. Oliver's not scary.
Maybe it's pronounced different. Maybe there's a different pronunciation in hell. It's like a dialect we're not picking up.
That's a terrible name.
Well, there you go.
Almost as terrible as him being named Frank Casa, as close to Frank Castle as
That's
possible.
why when I was figuring out how to say this, I'm like, I can't say Frank twice in a row, and then you can't even put their last name because they're so similar.
I'm so glad they're never going to do that.
Yeah, so that's a storyline that
Thank you for sharing.
came out later. So many comic books have so many weird storylines because they have to come up with new ideas all the time. But
I don't know if that one was a hit.
no. So there you go. There's your knowledge for the day.
Thank you, Adam. This is now your spoiler warning. Please, if you have gone this far, you should watch it, maybe. The Punisher. At least season 1, at the very least.
At least season 1. At least a few episodes of season 1.
Right. And then if you're like, I'll just listen to them talk about it for season 2, that's cool.
That's fine.
But we're going to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
So either go watch it or stay with us.
Spoiler alert, he doesn't die.
He doesn't die. In case you thought
he
that.
He lives. Like, is that why there might not be a season 3? Is he dead?
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
So, overview of season 1. So, if you've read the comics of The Punisher, it's pretty much
the basics.
The basics of
basic
the comics.
Storyline. He's a soldier with the Marines. He's he's a special forces soldier.
Right.
Comes back. He's got some issues because he was a soldier over there, but trying to reunite with his family.
Right.
His family accidentally gets killed.
They go to the park to ride the carousel.
Yeah, and they all
then
get
all of
shot.
a sudden, bullets fly everywhere.
Massacred. But he lives.
He lives, though.
And then he spends the rest of his life trying to get revenge on the people who killed his family.
Correct. So
that's season 1.
That's season 1. So the whole season, he's trying to just like find out who these people were that killed him, and murder every one of them. And then, in doing so, you meet the guy that's hiding from the government. What's his name?
Micro.
Mm-hmm. You meet Micro, who's trapped in this underground lair.
Sewer.
If
I've learned anything from movies and TV shows and comic books, there's a lot of real estate in the sewer systems. Especially in big cities. Ninja Turtles, The Punisher.
If you need somewhere to hide in New York, sewer.
Future Man.
Yes.
Lots of room down there.
Sewers.
You can stand the smell. Free real estate. Yeah.
So Micro's hanging out down there, hiding from the government, or hiding from certain people, right?
In the government. There's a bigger, the whole season 1 is a bigger conspiracy, shadow organization, bad things happening, using the military to do so, people in power, trying to use people. Spoiler alert, that's what happened to Frank Castle's family.
Mm-hmm. Somehow Frank Castle and him hook up. Micro wants him to help find these other people that's harming him and his family. And Frank's like, I don't want to do that. I just want to kill the people that killed my family. So there's this whole like thing about them working together.
Yeah, he's reluctantly working with him.
Yeah, he's reluctantly working with him. But come to find out, it's all part of the same.
Yeah, the same thing happened to both of them.
Right.
So
Frank's going to try to do his best to make sure that Micro's family doesn't die like how his family died.
Yes, to prevent his, because he happens to have 2 kids, just like Frank did.
Oh my God.
A boy and a girl.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How convenient.
Exactly the same. So he gets and he is one who was in the comic books. Micro. He was called Microchip in the comic books.
Yeah.
And he was kind of like Q to James Bond. So he built a lot of the weapons, which they didn't really talk about that in the series. He was more of a computer guy, but in the comic book, he helped design the van and all this other stuff that Frank Castle used. But in the comic, he eventually becomes an enemy of the Punisher, and they part ways. So I'm hoping that's not where it would go if they do a season 3, because I liked the character Micro.
I liked him a lot.
Yeah. And then the other character is Billy Russo.
Billy Russo.
Or as I like to call him, Westworld.
First of all, I watched him in this before Westworld, so he was Billy Russo in Westworld. Yes, 100%.
Season 1 come out at the same time, like same year, right?
Before Westworld, season 1.
Yeah, I dropped the ball. I did not watch the Punisher season 1, so I watched Westworld season 1 and 2 before I watched Punisher season 1. Yeah, so Billy Russo was one of his comrades over there. They're in the same unit.
Yes.
There were these
They're
special
BFFs.
forces. BFFs.
Best friends
brothers.
forever.
They're brothers. Come on, brother. So they're over there doing all this illicit, probably
They're doing bad things for the government.
off the books type of stuff.
Right.
But they're doing it under the government mandate, and they're being told that it's the right thing to do.
It's like if somebody needs somebody killed, but they need it done under the table, and they need it done within government resources. Those are the guys that
Turns out the whole time old Billy Russo was actually part of this whole plot to kill his family. No, he was
No.
betrayed, and he actually, was involved with it.
Frank Castle wanted to get out of doing the army stuff. The guys that run the army stuff was like, we can't let him do that because he knows too much.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, we need to kill him. And so Billy was like, I got you. And that's how his family got killed.
Yeah, even though he was super close with the whole family.
Right.
He was like a brother to him.
Right.
Again.
So the whole season is him trying to figure out who killed his family, him connecting with Billy again, him teaming up with Micro, and then the FBI agent
Madoni.
Madoni.
It sounds like they're saying Maldoni every
Right?
time they say it. When I looked it up, it's Madoni with no L. Maybe I
Okay.
misread. And then I keep thinking of Mahoney from Police Academy.
That's what
and
I
it's
kept thinking
totally-
about.
Steve Gutenberg, what's he doing here? Yeah. So Madoni.
Madoni
Madoni is the agent.
is the agent. She hooks up with Billy. They get into a real
little
thing.
romantic tryst.
Billy is obviously sleeping with her for information from the FBI.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole purpose of this.
Yeah.
And she's trying to find Frank Castle to stop him because he keeps killing a bunch of people. And
Yeah.
she's like, we gotta find him. So all three of them have this like triangle that's happening, and then at the end of season 1, Frank finds out that Billy killed his family, and he gonna kill him.
Yes.
So Billy finds Frank Castle first. They try to beat the shit out of him and kill him. They don't because he's Frank Castle.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, he's like, I'm coming for you, Billy. And then where do they go? Back to the carousel.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
He goes to take them down. Madoni finds them at the carousel. Billy shoots that girl in the head,
And she survives.
surprisingly. And
I
then,
think she's a superhero.
I mean, she could be.
Yeah.
And then Frank Castle
Goes nuts.
practically smashes Billy's head into the mirror of the carousel
He-
like 50,000 times.
And then he grinds his face across the broken glass, and you hear him scream. And
Ugh,
pretty boy,
pretty boy Billy.
he's getting his face all scarred up.
Yeah, so it ends with him in the hospital,
And then
still alive,
Still alive.
with his face wrapped up.
And-
I think he's unconscious at
Yeah.
the moment.
And then Homeland
Mhm.
or whatever association that Madoni's with, they
Right.
kind of give Frank this new identity, write everything off. You're
Mhm.
free to go. It's your one-time pass. See you
Right.
later. Do your own thing. End
You
of season 1.
Have a life,
Yeah.
Frank.
So that's the end of season 1.
Yeah. So that's the end of
Oh,
season
Micro
one.
gets back with his family.
Yeah, so
Everything's
Micro,
fine.
yeah. And that leads us to season 2,
Yes.
where it starts off with Frank in some random ass Hobunk town.
All right, are we going to go through the plot line, or can I talk about what I don't like as soon as we bring it up?
We're gonna talk about the plot, and then
Okay.
you can talk about.
I just might not be able to
Whatever.
control myself.
We can maybe go along the way.
Okay. So happy-go-lucky Frank Castle, Mr. Charmer that he is in the bar listening to, I'm assuming, Waylon Jennings' grandson, because the band was somebody.
It's a popular band. I don't know
All
what
right,
that
well.
name is, but apparently it is a popular
Okay.
band. So that's why
They gave it a
appear.
lot of attention. I mean, like, this guy is somebody.
Right.
And then I saw the last name Jennings, and by association, I'm like,
You
wow.
know- Oh,
Dukes-
maybe it
Dukes
could
of
be.
Hazzard theme song that has to be their grandson.
It could possibly be.
I don't know. But anyway, he stops to hear
He
the
stopped.
band.
He stopped to hear the band because he wants to get a feel for this town.
That's right. In
Yeah.
Michigan? Ohio?
I think it's in Michigan. I think the bar's in Michigan.
Okay, yeah.
So somewhere in the Midwest, they're listening to country music
Mm-hmm.
at a bar, and then, of course, the lady bartender.
He gets a little flirtatious with the lady
gets a little
bartender.
flirtatious with the lady bartender.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, like some asshole comes up to the bartender, is like, "Hey, baby, come on, don't you want to get with me?" And like she's like, "No, go away, I'm doing my job." And then he gets a little rough and
He goes completely Patrick Swayze, Roadhouse.
yep,
Takes him down.
takes him down.
No, he's very nice to the guy. He's like, hey, you had too much to drink, buddy.
right.
Just move on.
Just get on out of here.
And then the guy leaves her alone.
And then what do? Have sex.
Then get it on.
Which I want to say is the weirdest sex montage I've ever seen.
It is very odd.
The way it's edited, I'm just like, what is going? Like, they're having a conversation, and then you see them have sex, and then they're having a different conversation, and like after
you
they're
know that
having
implied they had sex like 6 times.
and then they have sex again. But it's the same conversation. It's not like it's a new conversation that's happening. It's like the same conversation.
I can't hold on a conversation very long.
And I'm like, what is
So-
going on here? And then after they have sex,
He's trying to sneak out
he's
in the
trying to
morning.
leave. Of course, the kid's there.
And the woman's little boy is there. He's like,
He's like, "Oh, little boy, you want to get breakfast? I love you."
Are you a hockey fan? I like pancakes. Let's go get some breakfast.
He's a sucker for kids, this Frank Castle is.
He is. But I'm going to say that stark swing of personalities annoyed the crap out of me.
No.
Like, there should be some middle ground there.
Yeah.
He becomes this... He wasn't that charming and charismatic with his own wife. He about decapitated his own son when he made some joke by the Statue of Liberty in the first
Right.
season.
Well, I think when your family dies, you kind of like warm up a little bit. You're like, maybe I don't take life
I'm gonna
too
say
seriously.
This. I like my vigilante anti-heroes to be one-dimensional. Don't be thinking about getting out there and having relationships with other people. Your focus should be killing as many people as you can all the time. You can't be distracted.
Can't be distracted.
Yeah. So I didn't like that part of it. Call me crazy.
Call me crazy.
Yeah, the whole pancake bit, it was a little
That
over
was
the
weird.
top.
I didn't like that. Well, I didn't like I didn't like the first episode.
There's too saccharine in it. It's like super sweet Frank Castle.
Right. It's not Frank Castle. It's like it's
And
Frank Castle.
Can
but
I
it's
also
not
say
Frank
I
Castle.
hate how much his voice changes in the whole series.
He just like
It's like he has 3 different dialects in the course of the 2 seasons.
he goes Christian Bale, Dark Knight, not Dark Knight, the last one.
Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, is that the last one?
Yeah. Batman Begins.
Batman Begins.
Dark
the Dark
Knight.
Knight.
Dark
Knight Rises. He goes Dark Knight Rises all over the series.
It's like when his endorphins get up so high, or his adrenaline
Is
goes
it
up.
something
his voice
like-
just lowers.
Like, is it something to do with like superhero man characters and like
They have so much testosterone that their voice just lowers.
as the seasons progress?
Yeah, like octaves lower each time.
My Frank Castle.
Oh.
Like literally the first episode, I could hardly understand anything that he was saying.
The very first episode of season 1?
No, season 2.
Season 2.
No, season 1's fine.
I don't know. I hated season 1 when he's hitting that wall and just keeps going, with
I
the
didn't mind
jackhammer. You're like, oh, shaggy guy. I don't mind this haircut and the grunting. I will say this. He's like a chameleon. The 3 different hairstyles he has in the show, he looks completely different.
Yeah, he did.
Maybe that's it. He's got multiple personality disorders. Depending on what haircut he has.
Okay.
Like if it's completely shaved, he's the Punisher.
He's doing it
and
for
he's
like
violent.
he's trying to conceal himself is what
Yeah.
it is. It's like when women change their hair color when they're on the run. That's what he's doing. He's like doing that.
Okay. Well, I didn't like the voice, and then also throughout the whole both seasons, this is a tick of the actor because I've heard him doing other things, but he says "yeah" all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
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 In the middle of saying something.
That's
Yeah.
just who he is. He brings a little piece of himself to Frank Castle.
We're gonna watch Punisher, Amanda. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's what it's like. He would, put that anyway. It annoyed me.
I didn't mind it. That's obviously a pet peeve
Yeah.
for Adam. After they have sex, and then they go get pancakes. After sex, pancakes
Mm-hmm. With a kid.
with the kid. Then
Not sex with a kid. Sorry.
no.
After sex pancakes, when they happen to go to the pancake shop with a child.
We're
There we
gonna
go.
we're gonna end that there. He's like, I'm gonna leave this podunk town, and then he gets a stoplight. And he's like, I'm gonna go back to the bar and see my lady.
Because they're playing, the band's playing again that night.
Yeah,
He gets 2 hours out of town,
that's what he says.
turns around.
Comes
Yeah.
back, sees his lady, and then who does he see? Some young blonde girl walking in who was there the night before, trying to get a drink,
Mm-hmm.
and
Amy, I don't know what her name is. Index? Not Index.
in the show,
Yeah.
her name, I don't know her last name. She has several names in the show,
Mm-hmm.
but her name is Amy.
Amy.
So he sees Amy. He sees her like go to the bathroom, and then people follow her into the bathroom,
Mm-hmm.
and he goes, "It's Punisher time!" And so he punishes out in the bathroom. There's like 2 women and a dude. He fights those women,
Yeah.
man.
You know what? It's equal playing field.
Hashtag me too.
You can punch a woman in the
Equal.
face.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
Equality,
a great time we live in.
feminism.
Yeah. If they're going to attack him, he's going to punch them in the face. I thought
Right.
that was interesting because you don't see that in movies or TV.
No,
a lot.
you don't.
Like a full-blown punch to the face thrown against the wall.
Yeah.
And they keep up. They do better than the guy does when they're fighting him.
Oh yeah.
So, especially one of them who comes back later on.
My favorite though is when like he smashes the guy's head into the sink, and the sink breaks.
And the sink breaks in half. Yeah, that's a good one.
That's like the best part of that whole episode.
Yeah, he uses his belt as the only weapon he uses besides the sink.
Right.
Yeah.
So all that goes down. He's like, "Why are they looking for you?" And she's like, "I don't know. I'm just here in this bathroom. They just found me in here." And then he goes out into the dance floor area, and there's more people looking for her.
And this time they draw guns. It's not just
Yeah,
trying to
it
keep
goes
quiet.
down Roadhouse style.
Bouncer gets killed.
Bouncer. I just want to say that whole fight scene is the worst fight scene in
It's
that
horrible.
whole episode. It's really bad. And I've read articles that were like, "It's so good." I'm like, "What are you watching?" It is terrible. The
Yeah.
the bouncer doesn't know what he's doing.
Besides the fact that he's big and he can pick somebody up. Other
Right.
than that,
That's all he's good for.
yeah, I've seen my two boys have a better fight than that.
I don't know who choreographed that, but it was not good at all. You
Yeah.
know what's bad about fight scenes is if they're shot too wide, they look terrible. And I think this was shot too wide, so like you could see all the
could be.
flaws.
Unless you're Jackie Chan, he intentionally shoots his wide because you
But
get to
he
see the
can
whole
actually
movement.
do things.
Yeah, not when you're a guy playing a bouncer who obviously is not very athletic.
No.
Because most of the time in the show he's eating food the entire time.
Literally.
Yeah, and I will say that was the bathroom scene was good.
The bathroom scene was
a
way
great-
better
yeah, a
than
better
the
fight scene.
Roadhouse scene in the bar.
So, but in the middle of all this,
Right.
to bring the Punisher back to his roots,
Right.
his lady friend gets shot.
Oh, not my woman.
No, yeah,
It's happening again.
not again. So she gets shot.
She
but
gets shot.
He ends up taking everybody out.
He takes Amy, takes his woman,
Drives her to the
drives
hospital.
to the hospital.
You do it first. I gotta go. Put her in there and take care of her. Let's get out of here.
So they get in this van, they drive around. That's
Mm-hmm.
the end of the first episode. They're just driving.
Yeah.
So I just want to say, I think we should touch on points throughout the season because I swear to God, this season had so much going on with it. I was just like, pick a plot.
Well, it's like they had two different stories going on at once. They really did.
I felt like they had like 3 different stories going on.
Yeah, two major stories with separate plot lines throughout. But the
Right.
whole Billy Russo and then
Billy Russo, Madani, crazy psychiatrist lady,
Psych
weird
senior.
Russian dude,
Mm-hmm.
photos, crazy Christian.
so should we just do
Ugh.
some completely fast wrap up and then just delve into all that stuff?
Yeah, because it's a lot.
All right. So we'll try to do a super fast one. He has the girl. They're in the hotel room.
Uh-huh.
He's figuring out what's going on. She's
Right.
not being cooperative.
No.
They get attacked by more people.
They get attacked by the same people they got
Same-
attacked
same
with
people.
in episode 1.
He sets them up. He kills a lot of them.
Yes. They get arrested by
They
the
get
cops.
arrested, and the one woman who was in the bar with him in the bathroom gets arrested with him.
Yes.
They go into the
They go into
county
the...
jail.
Oh, now they're in Ohio because when they were driving away,
Yeah.
they end up in Ohio. So now at the Ohio police station, there's only 4 cops there. Obviously, it's a podunk town also.
Mhm.
Then what happens? Shit goes down. Gunfire everywhere. Punisher's like, let me out of these cuffs. Let me out of these cuffs. And they're like, no, we don't know who you are. We don't know who you are. And then, like, someone gets shot, and so what do? They let him out of his cuffs. So he's like, I'm going to go out. Let me out. And he's like, I trust you, man. And so he goes out and
Go
he
for it.
literally kills
Everybody.
It's like,
except for one person.
except for the lead guy, which
John Pilgrim.
the Pilgrim. We're going to call him the Pilgrim.
That's his name, John Pilgrim.
I know.
Yeah.
So he's going out in the woods and he's literally
Just taking them all out. Yeah. It's a good scene.
It is.
I'm
That episode's a good episode.
going to say that's honestly my favorite episode of the season.
It's a good
I really
episode.
enjoy the episode.
Yeah. So
There's not a lot of side plot. Just let it be an action-packed episode.
Right.
There you go.
it is what it is.
Mhm.
So he gets to Pilgrim. It's a showdown. And then who shows up? Madani. Because while he was in custody, he called Madani and was like, let me out of this jail. She's like, I don't work for you no more, sucker. Or we don't need anything from each
Yeah,
other.
I gave you one chance.
Yeah.
Now we're through.
Yeah.
Then she gets scared. Because
Yeah.
Russo wakes up. She's like, shit, he escaped.
Russo wakes up and she goes to him like every night and every day and he doesn't know who she is and she's like, he's playing a fool. And then his psychiatrist, I'm gonna call her crazy psychiatrist.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy psychiatrist is like, no, he honestly doesn't know. And she's like, he's playing you. And then what does he do? He escapes the hospital. So who does she need to find him?
So she goes to get him for that, but it happens to be she saves him. He saves everybody. Yeah, it's everybody there. Yeah.
So she goes to Ohio, picks up Frank Castle, picks up this girl named Amy, takes him back to New York, sets him up in her apartment, and is like, "You guys do whatever you guys need to do. I'm gonna go stay in a hotel. Take care."
Yeah.
So this whole time she thinks Frank's gonna find Billy, but Frank's trying to find the Pilgrim to figure out why they're trying to kill Amy.
Mm-hmm. And she's not being cooperative, so she really won't tell him anything.
No.
Finally, she breaks down, tells him a story about why they're after her.
Right.
She's a grifter with a team of grifters. They're paid by the Russians to get pictures of some guy at a funeral. They call it a funeral, which is weird
senator.
to me.
It's a senator at a funeral, and who's he kissing?
Making out with another guy.
Another dude, and his parents are Christian, and they're like, we can't have that. So they hire Pilgrim to go find them,
to get the
kill
pictures.
them, and get the pictures.
It's this extreme alt-right, mega rich family in,
right.
I guess it was at Ohio? I don't know where that family's at.
I feel like Upper New York or something.
Yeah. So and that's played by Corbin Burnson and Annette O'Toole. And you guys should know who they are.
Right.
But if you don't, whatever. You should know who they are. So they play they essentially groom their son from like a young age to be this powerful person. These pictures are going to come out and they're afraid it's going to ruin him. They have this extremely weird, uber religious church. John Pilgrim is a parishioner there.
Right.
And his wife has cancer.
Right.
And he has 2 kids.
He does whatever they want because they give him money to help
his wife stay alive.
Yeah.
So like you have to go to New York and do this thing, and they keep alluding to his past life essentially, like you got to go back. I know
he's like, you gotta go to New York, and he's like, do I have to go to New York because I really don't want to go to New York? And they're like, no, you gotta go.
So he goes there. They're the reason that they're trying to kill the girl, and that they kill all of the girl's friends to get these pictures back.
Yes.
Yes. And I will say, I think the guy who plays John Pilgrim, I've seen him. I can't place where I've seen him.
Yeah.
I looked it up. He was in an episode of Dark Knight Rises. He was in the Dark Knight Rises, which is funny. But The Collector, I don't think I've seen that one. But if you see his face, I think everyone. I don't know. Did you recognize him when you saw him?
He kind of looks familiar. I mean,
I've seen him in something.
I don't know where I've seen him, but he looks.
He does a good job.
He does a really good job
as the weird, creepy guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I wanted more of their interaction than.
That's why it felt like there were 2 different stories. He pops up and then he goes away.
Right.
Amy goes away at one point. Then it's all about
Russo
Billy.
Yeah. So who knows?
Yeah.
Anyways, so they're all in New York. Pilgrim's in New York trying to find them. Frank figures out it's the Russians. Finds the Russians. There's a great scene at some Russian gym where he's just beating the crap out of these guys. Now that's a good
fight scene.
He's just beating the shit out of them.
Throwing kettlebells at him.
Oh my God, he grabs some guy's jaw and throws him down. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
So that whole scene's fantastic. And then he finds out that it's some rich Russian guy, whatever, that wants to own
the senator
and his family, whatever. And Frank's like, you gotta stop doing that, man. And he's like, okay, thanks, Frank. And then
I'll spare your life and you can go with your kids. And then
who kills him? Pilgrim.
Mr. Pilgrim. Mm-hmm.
So Pilgrim kills him. And so this whole time, Billy is trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. What happened?
His brain is definitely jumbled, like a jigsaw puzzle.
And I just want to say, one of my pet peeves is that his face
does not
beautiful.
Look bad. I know.
And I'm like, really?
I was going to bring that up because in the comics, Jigsaw is horribly disfigured.
I wanted him to be horribly
disfigured. That's
what
I was going to say. When they show him scraping his face across the glass.
I was hoping he would have no face.
It was like, okay, this is movie ugly. It's not really ugly.
No, this is movie.
There are a lot of people who be like, he's still a 10.
I just want to say at the end of season 2, though, Frank looks exactly like Billy from
and he
fixed.
Just been
and he was just been through some fight or something. I'm like, okay.
That was pretty annoying. I think people who were because in the comic books he becomes a super villain,
I wanted him
called
to be
Jigsaw.
Really gross.
And in the 2008 movie, which is I have not seen the whole thing. If you go and look at clips of that of Jigsaw, it's gross.
I wanted him to be gross.
Yeah, puffy gray face, lots of scars all over him. This is just like, oh.
Oh, I had some
I bet
work
you have
done.
an interesting story. Why don't you tell me about it and I'll buy you a drink?
And Frank's like, your face looks fucked up, Billy. And I'm like, really, Frank?
Especially from the side Frank's on. It doesn't look that bad. One side looks a little worse than the other. Other than that, yeah. So yeah, that's a little annoying. But he wakes up.
Anyways, he wakes up.
He
Crazy
escapes.
psychiatrist trying to
She got some issues.
get him to remember stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He escapes.
He goes back to her apartment.
He finds her apartment, goes there.
Guess what? They hook up.
Crazy psychiatrist lady has crazy psychiatrist stuff of her own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She's afraid of the window because
And
she
she's
fell out of it as a kid.
Into pain.
She's into pain.
Mm-hmm. But she can't walk up to the window.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of things going on in this season, which I will say, I liked as opposed to season 1, because one of my faults with season 1 is it dragged on. There were a lot of times where I'm like, come on.
No, I liked it.
It's too slow.
I would
points.
definitely prefer.
I don't know if I could pick. I don't think that this was the answer, but I did like the fact that this season actually moved and there was more interesting things going on.
No.
There was more character development too in this one.
No. There was not. It was just like a drag fest of like Billy and the crazy psychiatrist lady's whole relationship was like every time it was like their scene, I was like, my God,
Will this be over?
can we get through this? Like it was basically like Billy's like, do you even love me? She's like, of course, Billy, I love you. And he's like, you don't even love me. He's like, of course, Billy, I love you. Every scene of them, it's the same thing, and I'm just like, my God, can we not? I want to see more. I want to see more of Pilgrim, and I wanted to see more of Castle and the Russians. I wanted to see that more than I wanted to see Billy.
Because Pilgrim's story actually becomes very interesting. So he fails to get Castle. They send him back, and he tries to put a hit on Castle and Amy.
Right.
And in doing so, you find out that apparently he was part of this white extremist Nazi group by the tattoos. That's what the tattoos are.
Is it Nazi or is it like Irish?
No.
Is it like a Celtic Irish mob?
No, that's a Nazi. That's a Nazi.
Is it?
The Nazi cross. Because he even says when he's talking to Curtis, there was a time where I would have just written you off just by looking at you. Mm. But that time is changed now. So he was some like big wig in this neo-Nazi
mob
thing. And there's a good fight scene between, they all try to ambush him because he left to go to this church with his family.
That's a good fight scene.
That's a good fight
That's probably one of the best fight scenes.
I mean, I love the fact that they show the aftermath. He headbutts the guy, and then you see him pull a tooth out of the top of his head. It's pretty good.
That episode is good.
That's a good one, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I do think. I like the Billy Russo storyline.
This is what I like about Billy Russo. So the entire time he's getting with this crazy psychiatrist lady, he's forming a veteran robbing squad. So basically, like
his own gang, essentially.
So all these veterans, they feel like society has left them. So he's like, we should get together and go rob some shit and get a lot of money.
Yeah.
And like keep going. And they're like, yeah, Billy, let's do this.
We can get some money?
Yeah.
That'd be great. Yeah.
That whole plot is fantastic.
His scenes when he's with those people are great. Like when he shoots the guy, when they try to cross him.
Yes.
His character there, but the character, what he has with the doctor, I think they all have good elements. Like the doctor's character has some good moments. Like her little twist on trying to break Castle is interesting.
I hate her.
But I don't think it congeals together very well.
No.
There's just too much going on. It's like say they had a board when they were writing the season. It's like they had all these ideas. This would be cool. This would be cool. And someone's like, put them all in.
Put them all up there.
Can you write a dragon in the next one?
Sure.
Perfect.
So that whole plot's happening.
Everything's happened simultaneously. The Pilgrim kills all of his old white supremacists. The senator's parents are like, you still have to get this guy.
You can't go home yet.
Oh, by the way, your wife died.
And now like, can I come home? He's like, no, you gotta kill Frank Castle.
We have your 2 boys too, so you better do it.
Yeah.
Where do we go from here?
I don't even remember.
It was just a whirlwind of plot.
Let's just wrap this up. Okay, so everyone's after Frank Castle.
His surrogate daughter Amy, he's trying to protect.
Yeah, we'll call her surrogate Amy.
Surrogate daughter Amy. Russo's still alive. He's got a gang, and they're robbing people and killing people.
So Madani's like, what are you even doing here? And you need to be finding Billy. And he's like, all right, I'll go find Billy. So what does he do? He finds Billy. Billy's like, hey, Frank, how'd my face get fucked up? And Frank's like, I fucked your face up. And he's like, no. And they have this moment in the street after they rob a whatever. So Billy's like, I'm going to get Frank back. And does this whole plot where Frank infiltrates their veteran gang lair. And they beat him up, and he like runs after him, and he like shoots him from down below, like one of those offices up above. Yeah. And he like shoots the office as they're running through, and he runs up there, and who does he see?
3 dead hookers.
Oh no! And he has this Frank.
What do I done?
He's like, Like, he is done with life after that
He's
moment.
like, if my moral compass is now broken, I'm useless.
He is done with life.
Mm-hmm.
He gets arrested, put in jail. But Donnie's like, I don't know, maybe he did do it. And who shows up?
Karen.
Like always. And she does the same spiel she does in every other fucking episode she's ever been in.
Yeah.
Frank, why can't we just be together? And he's like, we can never be together.
Because you will never be with a woman, right? You won't hook up with a woman at a bar. That'll never happen, right,
That'll
Frank?
never happen. You never have thoughts of just settling down with some woman and a kid eating pancakes. I'm like, what a hypocrite. He just hates Karen.
He does. She's a little clingy.
She's a little clingy.
Yeah. So he's in the hospital after
in the
this
hospital.
attack. He's given up on life. Just
Everyone's
kill me.
still after him.
$5 million bounty on his head.
Billy calls Madani and is like, haha, you'll never find me. And she's like, no, I won't find you. Madani and Karen go down to the morgue, find out that those prostitutes were definitely shot at close range, not from down
That's
below.
right. Gunshot
outside.
residue on their bodies.
So-
Straight ahead, not at an angle, and it was close range. So Frank couldn't have done it.
Frank couldn't have done it.
And then he snaps out of it. He's like, "Who kills the people?" They break him out of the hospital.
Break him out of the hospital, and then who finds him?
Detective what's his face?
Head of the detective. Who's like
He's detective.
the chief?
New York. I don't know.
He's ahead of them though.
Okay.
He's like chief. He runs the department.
That guy.
That guy from Daredevil that runs the department.
Yeah. Finds him. He's like, "You're coming with me. You're not gonna get away." Puts him in an ambulance.
Puts in an ambulance car, driving
Drives off.
around. They're like, what are you talking about? You took an ambulance car? And he's like, sometimes I break the rules. And then what happens? Ram! Car gets smashed into him.
By the Pilgrim.
The
Yeah.
little Pilgrim shooting up the place. Knocks the truck off the highway.
Yep. Off the bridge. Hits down. Crashes down to the ground.
Right.
Frank's handcuffed, but he manages to get his way out.
Who shows up? Madani. Madani saves the day. Starts shooting at the Pilgrim. Pilgrim obviously
Takes
gets in the
off.
car, goes away. And
Frank
so-
Castle escapes, but not before he realizes the gas leak. He goes in and saves the detective.
Right.
I guess he's not all that
He's not
bad.
that bad.
Saves him. He goes back to the trailer where Amy and Curtis are staying, hiding
Amy-
out from
Yeah.
from the
From
Pilgrim.
the Pilgrim, but the Pilgrim showed up, took Amy.
Yeah, took Amy, took some brass knuckles, and whooped the crap out of Curtis. That man can take a beating. You think the
Poor
Punisher
Curtis,
can?
man. All he wants to
I-
do is hang out with his new girlfriend.
I know, they bring it up. I feel really bad for that character. Plus, I'm sorry, the guy is huge. I know he doesn't have a leg, but he can't fight. The
Right.
first season, little man takes him down.
Right.
Second season, this Pilgrim
Well,
guy takes him.
Technically, he was a medic in the army, so
You still have to go through basic
I'm
training.
just saying.
Yeah, but he's got about 60 pounds and 6 inches
Right.
on some of the guys. Anyway, he's just like a helpless trope character. I'd be like, we need somebody who can also get beat up because of you, Frank. How about this guy? Oh yeah, give him one leg.
So he finds out Pilgrim takes Amy, and he goes, "No, not Amy. No, no."
Surrogate daughter.
So what does he do? He comes smashing into the senator's house, beats the shit out of him, and goes, "You coming with me?" Takes him to the takes him back to the trailer. Curtis like, "What the fuck are you
And
doing?"
the senator's like, I don't know what's going on.
And he's like, "Yeah, you do." And then the senator realizes, "Oh shit, my parents set up this whole thing and killed a bunch of people
Because I'm gay.
because I'm gay."
It's like the world's changed a bit, Dad. No, it hasn't. Yeah.
So there's going to be a trade-off with the senator and Amy, and the Pilgrim shows up with Amy,
At
and
that point, Curtis is like, nope, I'm taking him out of here.
right, Curtis is like, I'm just taking the senator. You do what you got to do. So the senator isn't there. He's pretending the senator's there, and so the Pilgrim and Frank fight it out in the middle of.
It's a good fight scene, too.
It's a good fight scene.
Yeah.
And then it ends.
Shovels and chains and other junkyard items
Right.
are being used.
And then it ends with like him. You think he killed the Pilgrim, and that's how that episode. That's how that scene ended. And then
Wait, before he says, wait, don't kill my boys.
right, like Frank's just gonna go kill some boys. That's
Yeah.
on his agenda.
Yeah.
While this is happening, Madani is fighting crazy psychiatrist woman in her house because Madani figures out that crazy psychiatrist lady set up Frank for the prostitutes.
She said the only way to beat him
Right.
is to break him and to make him think that he's done something that he can't go back from. And
Right.
so he's like, kill some women.
So what do they do? Have a lady fight in the crazy psychiatrist's apartment. And this is the worst ending of this scene. they're fighting, and then all of a sudden, Madani pushes the crazy psychiatrist lady out the window, and she's having her like that moment of like, this is how I die. Like again,
I will say though that has
that
a
was
point.
cheesy.
It was cheesy, but the whole reason was okay to play devil's advocate.
I literally laughed when she pushed her out the window.
Okay, hold on. So I'll take a breath. At that point in the fight, crazy Dr. Dumont had the upper hand.
Right.
So she saw the window, and she knew if she pushed her towards the window, the woman would.
She didn't know that.
Yes, she did.
Did
She knew the woman fell.
I blacked out of that. I was like,
So I'm thinking it was
I
a
removed
tactical.
that from my memory.
If you watch it again, it seems like she's like, if I keep walking this way,
Got
and
it.
you see her like panicking.
I still laughed. It was hilarious.
And the whole tumble was pretty
It was
funny, too.
hilarious. And then she's laying on the ground, and then Billy's looking at her, and she's just like he doesn't even go to her. He's just like standing there, like
With his blue flowers in his hand.
And then he looks up and sees Madani, and he's like, I gotta kill her. And then him and Madani fight it out.
She shoots him 3 times.
Yep.
Does he shoot her?
No, I think he fucks her up though.
Okay.
I don't remember. But they're lying bloody
Yeah.
on the ground.
Oh, no, she was attacked by the doctors. That's why she's already weak and
Right.
everything else. Yeah, so.
So they're lying on the ground bloody, and then it cut to Frank and Amy going over to a fancy rich Christian house.
In their giant
people,
castle.
Their gigantic house.
Mm-hmm. It's like
And-
Wayne Manor.
Right?
It's this big old house.
And then Amy goes in with a gun and is like, you remember me? You remember me? And they're like, whoa, what you gonna do with that gun? And he's like, take it away from my wife. Take it away from my wife. And she puts it over to him, and the wife grabs a knife to get Amy. And then Frank
Blam!
Castle shoots her in the head.
That was a pretty shocking moment.
I was like, oh shit.
He means business. Yeah.
And then he comes in and he tells the dude, he's like, look, we're gonna post all the stuff about your son and like everything that's
All
happened.
the video of you essentially admitting that you did all this horrible stuff.
Or you're gonna kill yourself.
Or you can kill yourself. They walk out, they hear a gunshot.
Boom.
Pilgrim's there with his 2 boys.
He didn't die.
They parted ways. It's like,
like a nice
another
moment.
killer just like me.
And then after that, Billy Russo is like wandering around the city, gets to Curtis's gym that he does his veteran meetings at,
Mm-hmm.
and he calls Curtis and he's like, Curtis, I just want you to be here as I'm dying. And
I don't want to die alone. I know I've done bad things, but yeah.
So we're waiting for Curtis, and then who walks in?
Frank Castle.
Frank Castle. And then Billy does this whole speech of like, Frank, I knew you would show up, blah, 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 blah.
Shoots him, not in the head.
No, finally kills him. Because
Yeah.
this entire time, Frank's like, I should have fucking killed him. I should have killed him. I shouldn't have left him alive. I should have killed him. And then what does he do? He kills him.
He kills him.
Yeah. So that's basically season 2.
Yeah, and then last part of it, he's at the bus stop with Amy. She goes off. He gives her some money. Emotional
Have a
hug.
real life.
Have
Go
a
have
real
a real
life.
life.
Then the very last scene
Right.
is 3 months later. Frank Castle's outside this building. All these people are walking in.
All these
Hoodlums.
hoodlums. Okay.
Hoodlums.
They're not like
They're like
adults.
hoodlums in this place. Walk in. You see 2 gangs standing off.
He's like,
Why'd you call me here?
No, you called me here.
No, what are you playing? You called me here.
And then
Oh, yeah, you want to go?
Frank goes, I'll go. And like has 2 guns. And you just see him shoot up the whole place.
That's like the first iconic "This is the Punisher" shot like, from
Right.
every comic book. The trench coat he has, which he didn't have most of the show.
Right.
2 giant machine guns in his hand, and he just wipes everybody out. And that's the end of season 2. Which, if there's not a season 3, I think that's a pretty decent ending for
It's a pretty
series.
decent ending, but I do like the fact that Madani's in the CIA now, and she called him,
yes.
and she's like,
She wanted a
I have
sniper.
a job for you, and he's like, I don't do that no more.
I got my own job
I got
now.
my own job.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there could be a season 3
Yeah.
doing more stuff.
So that was it in a nutshell.
So that was in a nutshell.
A very awkward and
That was us trying to be short about
Yeah.
this season.
a lot happened. You see how fast we've summed up season 1?
Oh.
Season 2 had a lot going on.
Oh my God, season 2, it was just too much happening.
There was too much. I felt like the whole Senator John Pilgrim storyline could have been about any other character. I don't think it had to be Punisher. Like I feel like that was a plot that could have been for some other series they created.
Yeah.
And it's like, we can do that. We'll put him in here. Although there was a character called the Mennonite in the Punisher series,
Oh,
who was kind of
Similar to the
similar
Pilgrim?
based on this one. Yeah, he was just slow-talking man who carried a hammer who tried to kill the Punisher, but he was like religious in this way. But other than that, I feel like it could have been like Liam Neeson
Right.
trying to save the girl
Right.
or anybody else.
Literally anyone else.
Yeah. I think there were a lot of elements I really liked about each of the plots, but the way they put it together did not work for me.
No.
I found myself, honestly, when I was watching it on the computer, like scrubbing over the timeline, like, is this conversation still going on?
Exactly.
If I click past this part, I'm not going to miss anything, right?
No, and also
So I was tempted to do that.
some of the episodes were like an hour long.
Yeah.
And I was like, good Lord, is this episode still on? I can tell you it's not a great season when I have to go, am I still watching this?
Oh, and I watched 2 seasons in the weekend.
But
It was
I liked the first
26
one.
hours of TV. And the second season felt like it lasted a lot longer.
My God, it felt like it lasted forever.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would say that bingeability-wise, season 1 definitely beats season 2 for me.
Yeah.
If we were going to
Oh,
talk
yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
There were certain episodes where I really wanted to see what happened next.
That's the sad part about season 2 is that you're watching it and they have these moments where it reminds you of like season 1. You see like the possibilities of it being like really
Yeah,
good. So you
storyline
get those
and which
moments
one-
and you get those moments and you're like, oh my God, that's so good. And then and then I like want to watch the next one. And then when I get to the next one, I'm like, why am I watching this?
Yeah.
So it like battles with itself.
Yeah, it has really good parts.
It has
and
really,
then
really
really
good parts.
slow parts
and
that
then
are just,
yeah, and so like you see like you see season 1 a little bit in it, and then you see like it
Yeah.
go away. So it's like flashes of like
I think
nice
I think
moments.
overall I'm going to give it like a 3.5.
For bingeability.
Bingeability for this one.
I'm actually going to agree with you.
Look at that. First time ever. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah.
I was 3.5 because like I told you, I started the first episode and I couldn't finish it. Like I had to force myself to watch the
Yeah.
first episode,
It
and
was
then
a
it
lot.
got a little better. But there was just so much happening in season 2, and some of the storylines were not very developed very well. But again, you still had those moments of Frank Castle beating the Russians in the gym,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, I love this scene so much.
Mhm.
And then you have the Pilgrim
Yeah.
beating the shit out of.
Because you really wanted to know more about his backstory. Like,
Right.
what is this? What's going on? So they kind of
Right.
alluded to that. So those parts were pretty good.
And Billy doing his veteran gang was also very cool with like the mask and everything. I also didn't like the fact that they started him off with the jigsaw mask. I was like literally the first shot of Billy you see is him with the jigsaw mask, and I'm like, can't it just be the white mask and then turn into jigsaw
Well,
mask?
they did that, but
I
it
know,
was
but
not
they
that
did
way.
it later.
Yeah.
They did it literally like 8 episodes in, where you see him like flash back to where
It was white, and then they covered it. Yeah.
I'm just like, so it's just all over the place. But I still like John Bernthal
I think
as
he did pretty
Punisher.
good.
I think he's my
Did a good
favorite.
job.
He did a really good job. He did Christian Bale a little bit.
Yeah.
While I was watching this entire season, though, when he was doing his voice, I was like, he could definitely do a remake of Rocky.
Yeah. He could definitely be.
Okay, I don't love
did
you or
it.
anything, but like, hold
yeah.
my hand as I walk out of this room.
Maybe I should kill somebody. Yeah. I could see him doing that. He'd be good
He'd be
at
good.
a Rocky
He'd be
remake.
really good. Maybe they can do something with the new Creed movie. Maybe he could be like a long lost Rocky.
brother. I was going to bring up a couple other little things about the differences between the comic books and the series.
Mm-hmm.
So in the comic book, I found this interesting. Curtis Hoyle, who plays his friend who's lost a leg,
Yeah.
is actually a villain. And
Oh, really?
they kind of tied Billy Russo's storyline in with Curtis's storyline. So in the comic book,
Oh.
Curtis is the one who serves with him, like and fights with him. He's another military guy.
Okay.
And then he comes back, but he only has like a very small arc. He tries to kill Frank Castle, and he ends up dying. And in the comic book, Billy Russo is actually a hitman for the mafia.
Right.
He's not part of the military at all, and he has a similar backstory. He was abused. At 10 years old, his father abused him and kicked him out of the house. He became an orphan, but then he gets in with the gangs and the mafia. He becomes a hitman for these guys.
Okay.
He marries a woman who has a kid. He ends up beating the woman and the kid, and then forces the kid, Henry, to kill these kittens that their cat has, and says, if you don't drown these kittens, I'm going to shoot your mom.
What?
So he threatens that.
Who made that
Yeah,
storyline?
I know. The Punisher's a dark series. And then he gets hired by the Demon Man
Demon Man.
to kill Frank Castle and
Uh-huh.
anyone who's associated with him after the whole incident with his family goes down.
Oh.
He fails. Frank Castle kills everybody in Billy Russo's group, except for Billy Russo to send a message to all the organized crime. Pushes him through a glass plate. He pushes him through one glass plate, and his
and
face
his face
becomes
is like-
horribly disfigured. In the series, he grinds his face across glass
See, it
55
should be
times.
flip-flop
Yeah.
then, like...
And in the comic book, he has this horrible face. So yeah,
Right.
that's a couple of the differences that are in the comic book in that. But speaking of comic books,
Comic books.
I have a question for you.
Ooh. Is it Stump Amanda time?
Stump Amanda time.
Okay.
So say someone tried to drown your kittens. I'm trying to find a tie-in.
Okay.
And you needed somebody to get revenge, a la the Punisher.
Ooh.
If you could pick one non-superpowered comic book hero, who would you pick to be on your side? So human, essentially.
Right.
Non-superpowered.
Vigilante.
No, just anybody. Like
Just anyone?
who do you think would have the best chance? Non-superpowered comic book hero. Because you could say like Superman and he would just destroy anybody.
Right.
But who would you pick?
But, like, am I killing... Like, do I want them
It could be
dead?
it could be any way you wanted to do it. My version, they're all dead.
I'd probably go with Daredevil because I love that series so much.
Yeah, but he technically has some power.
But you can say that about anyone, really.
So going with Daredevil.
Well, I mean, who else is non-powered at all besides, like, Batman?
Hawkeye.
Nobody wants Hawkeye.
I'm sure there's a couple people that want Hawkeye.
I don't want Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I would pick Black Widow then.
Romanoff.
Yeah, she can get
Yeah.
the job done. And she could either kill them or not kill them, depending on her mood.
Whatever mood she's in.
Yeah. So there you go. There's my non.
Okay. I'll take
Powered.
that over Daredevil because I think even though he's blind, he's
I love
technically has that.
Daredevil. I would pick him at anything.
Yeah, of course. I would pick Batman.
You pick Batman?
Gotta go with Batman.
No, Black Widow's better.
Batman kind of has that DC fault to where he's too good at everything that he does. Kind of like Superman. Like that's a problem with Superman. I have a hard time getting behind Superman is
Because
because
he's too
what
perfect.
can't he do?
I know.
And in Batman, really, what can he do
I mean,
besides save Dick Grayson from being killed?
I always say that Iron Man could defeat Batman, but that's
I don't think so.
that's my saying.
Maybe we'll have a counterpoint discussion at some
Fight
point.
with me.
Do it.
Change my mind. Iron Man versus Batman. Iron Man wins. Change my mind.
Iron Man's just a ripoff of Batman.
Iron Man is so much smarter than Batman. 100%.
No, he may have smarts when it comes to electronics, but strategy, Tony Stark is not that bright.
Batman would die.
Fight me, prove me wrong. Who leads all these battles? It's not Tony Stark. They rely on Captain America to make the plan. In the Justice League,
He doesn't need a plan.
Batman ran everything.
You know what? You know what Iron Man would do? He would already know that Bruce Wayne was Batman. Hands off, because he would figure that out. Because he would
Tony
have
Stark
Jarvis.
wouldn't.
He would have Jarvis figure that out. He would put all the information in, and Jarvis would be like, Bruce Wayne's Batman. Show up at his house, knock down his door, laser the shit out of him while he's like sitting in the bathtub trying
Watch
to
any
bathe.
Iron Man movie. Besides him building stuff, Tony Stark is oblivious to a lot of things.
I'm just saying,
He does not have powers of observation. Let's put it that way.
fight me.
Okay. Well, good discussion.
Okay. Favorite episodes. I'm going to go with Police Battle.
Yeah.
I'm just calling them by...
Yeah.
I think it's the third episode.
That's
but it's like
episode 3. Yeah.
Police Battle, Gym Brawl,
was a
Russian
good
Gym
one, yeah.
Brawl, episode 5. And then I would say episode 10, when Frank gets knocked the fuck out. And when he goes into Billy's lair.
Mm-hmm. And he gets.
He's just getting the shit beat out of him.
Yeah.
I think those are my favorite.
I still think this number 3 is my favorite.
Just number 3, the
Yeah.
police station.
The rest of them are kind of. There's good parts, but I like that episode all around. I
mean,
think
I-
it was interesting.
I mean, out of 13 episodes, only 3 are my favorite.
Well,
I feel like
you
that's
can only
telling.
have one favorite if we're gonna get semantical here.
Episodes.
Okay.
Okay.
Least favorite. I don't know. They all kind of blend together at that point. They're either really good or they're just not good.
I would just say like the 3 good or the 3 good.
After that, they're all kind of on the same par, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Okay.
So now we're going to do skip the intro, where I'm going to name you some Marvel shows.
Ah, okay.
And you're going to tell me whether you would skip the intro or let it play. Because some
Okay.
of them are too good to skip.
Okay. All right.
Starting with The Punisher.
The Punisher. I skipped that intro.
I know, I do too.
It's not worth it at all.
The graphics are very good, but I can't stand that twang music.
Yes. On a side note from that, have you ever seen the show Justified?
Yeah, it's all that same music.
That sounds exactly like the theme from Justified.
Yeah. There's a skit in Portlandia where Fred Armisen and I forget her name.
I don't know.
Fred Armisen and the other lady.
Mm-hmm.
Carrie Braun. I can never remember her last name. So Fred and Carrie do the skit where they like make intro music and it's like it's all the twang music. So they do like the Breaking Bad and the Justified and like Sons of Anarchy. So it has that twang.
Yeah, I was not. Yeah, I think I watched it twice and I skipped it from 2 seasons every time after that.
I like the guns that make up the skull at the end.
Yeah, it looks cool.
That's literally it.
Yeah,
that's the only good
It's not
part
worth
of
the
it.
ride for me.
No.
Okay.
So we skip that intro. Jessica Jones.
Skip it.
I kind of like it. Like there's like I like it, and then there's this part where like there's this weird guitar solo, and then I don't like it, but then right after that it fixes itself. So I would say sometimes.
I'm going to okay. There's only one that I don't skip. Let's see if you can guess which one it is. Keep going.
Okay. Luke Cage. Skip
the
skip.
intro. Skip, skippity skip.
I already skipped, and I'm gonna say it, but we all know what we're gonna say. Iron Fist.
Skip that intro.
Not only do I skip the intro,
I skip the show.
Skip that series completely. So that leaves us with
the winner is
Daredevil.
Of course you watched the Daredevil.
I love
that's
the
a
intro.
really good one. I like that one a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was skip the intro.
That's
Very
good.
short skip the intro.
Very short skip the intro. Definitely Daredevil's the only one that.
Maybe we'll do a podcast about how much we just don't watch Iron Fist.
Oh, it's so bad. Yeah.
We just won't ever. I haven't even seen season 2.
No.
No, I literally stopped at the last episode, season 1. And
like, I'm not going to even watch this.
So that's my rant.
I'd rather see him in Game of Thrones than in Iron Fist.
He's much better in Game of Thrones. So I don't blame him for anything. I blame whoever's making him do all those terrible things.
Yes.
By terrible things, I mean acting really bad. Hey, Adam, what's happening next week?
Oh, next week?
Next week.
We're going to binge a little show called True Detective
Woo!
From HBO.
We're going to do 3 weeks of True Detective.
With a little Game of Thrones sprinkled in between.
With a little, some recap of Game of Thrones.
So this is going to be an
HBO month.
HBO month.
I'm dubbing February HBO month.
Rise. HBO, you're dubbed.
So you're probably saying, why are you going to do 3 seasons of True Detective this month? And I'm going to say, well, aren't they technically 3 different TV shows? Because they're not. They're not the same.
Different cast.
They're different.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to do season 1. We will do season 2. And then season 3 will wrap when we do that one.
Yeah. So we're going to do all 3 seasons. But like you said, they're kind of different shows.
They're different.
Really. Yeah.
Because everyone loves season 1.
Judging by the reviews, they are totally different shows.
Everyone has mixed reviews about season 2.
So that's what we have coming up.
And then season 3.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
I've never seen it, and I really wanted to see it.
Yeah, I really want to see it.
Gives me an excuse to watch it.
Yeah, McConaughey.
All right.
So thank you guys for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and share. You can leave us a comment, maybe about how Iron Man would totally beat up Batman.
Nope.
And put him in the grave.
I will say Tony Stark is cooler than Bruce Wayne.
100%.
I'll concede to that. But not Batman versus Iron Man. That's ridiculous.
Also, if you like Iron Fist, I would really like to know that.
Yeah, please tell us.
If that's one
we will not judge.
If that's one of your favorite Marvel shows, will you please tell me? Because I'm very interested to know if there's anyone out there that likes that show. So see you, Bingers, next week. Bye.